Nation.
SMD Law is the official law firm of the Spartan Nation. Check them out on the interwebs at smdalaw.com or at 866-529-3537. No matter where you are in the state of Michigan, Upper Peninsula, Lower Peninsula, it doesn't matter. They have an office near you. So whether you need to send a letter to an annoying neighbor, or you're a criminal and you need defense, maybe you just have problems with elder law, check them out, smdalaw.com today. The official law firm of the Spartan Nation. Call them first. Then you act.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back, Spartan Nation. We now bring in Spartan Nation senior writer, the one, the only, the iconic wonder himself, the great John Shop. John, how are you, bud?
I am warming up slowly. Great American Race is coming here this weekend. That is the unofficial start of spring in the South. So from here, down in the South, we are looking to close out this winter while you guys up there are in the heart of it. Little storms in the area. Big Ten basketball heating up. And plenty of winter left for my friends in the Midwest.
Who doesn't like winter, John? I mean, come on. I love it.
I love it when I'm skiing. And I mean, I cannot tell you how much I love it. So when I see the unbelievable storms in the West right now, and I see the pictures of the powder skiing in Tahoe and in Colorado, I drool, and every night I go to sleep dreaming that I will be dreaming of skiing in powder. But outside of skiing, and I haven't done it unfortunately for a long, long time, I really don't have much use for the winter Hondo, but I do love that the bugs and the mosquitoes and those guys, they are nowhere to be found in the winter. So I will give you that one. I enjoy a little bit of winter, not too much, and I'm ready for the unofficial start of spring here in the South.
John, I want to ask you real quick just to give me your feedback, your thoughts, really all of that. What do you think of Michigan State now? I thought it was a monster win. I thought it was the most impressive win of the year going into Wisconsin. That place is horrible. Let me remember your phrase that, because it's not horrible. It's awesome. But it's horrible from the standpoint of how difficult it is to win there, how difficult it is to play there. I thought it was a very important and a very impressive win.
Well, it was one that they had to win. They really had to win it to right the ship and stay right there in the heart of the Big Ten race. And it is very difficult to win there. And there was a portion of that game where it looked like Wisconsin had adjusted and they were in the driver's seat. There was definitely a portion of the game when you did. That's the way it looked. So it is a big deal to win at Wisconsin because not everybody can. Not everybody will. And somebody else is going to go to Wisconsin later in the year and Wisconsin's going to beat them. So by that win, you've got 2 on Wisconsin. So you kind of look towards pushing them out as Michigan and Michigan State kind of push towards what looks like it's going to be a big-time clash. But the top of the Big Ten right now is crowded. It's a big win for Michigan State, not just in the Big Ten, but I think for the rest of the season. Again, I think this is a new team. Once Joshua Langford was marked out for the year, I said this team's going to take a little bit. They need to adjust a little bit and find their sea legs and find out who they're going to be now. I think that Wednesday night was a big step towards that, and it's coming at the right time because, as you know, the middle of February is here. So you got to start to know who you are at this point to refine it. You don't want to be trying to search for yourself much later into February.
John, what are your thoughts on this team? What do you think of this team? I'm very impressed.
I like this team a lot. There's a lot of intangibles. There are so many intangibles to root for. This team is made up of gamers, from Kenny Goins to Kyle Arns to Matt McQuaid. I find this team one of the easier to root for in Izzo history, and that's saying a lot because there have been some good ones. You know, when you think about Michigan State basketball, it's the best team in the country in 2016. I think that was pretty clear. They got undone by a ridiculous scheduling when the Big Ten tournament relative to starting round 1. Probably had the best team in the country last year, and they did themselves in. So I think that this team has some intangibles because of those experiences that other ones don't. And I think they're probably going to go further in the tournament than people would expect, especially when you compare to those 2 teams that ended up going a lot less far than what was expected. So I like this team a lot. I worry about the fouls because it's the name of the game in college basketball. It's the lead story of the sport. But I like this team a lot, and if they can keep the engines going, if they can keep playing hard, if they can keep Nick Ward sprinting down the court whenever possible, I think they got a chance to do a lot.
Talking to Spartan Nation senior writer Johnny Shop. John, let's look ahead. I said before the game, as you know, if Michigan State won there, and I did not think they would win. But if they won there, I thought they would at least get a shot. They'd get a part of the Big Ten regular season title. Now that you've seen it, now that you've experienced it, now that you've watched it and everything else, do you think I was far off? What is your thought process? Because I'm going to tell you now, the Spartans are now tied for first place in the Big Ten. I think they're at least going to get a share of it now. I don't think this team goes backwards now.
Well, they probably don't. And look, coming off of everything went our way, special day, we're due for a big win, victory over Minnesota, I would have probably bet with you, Hondo. I would have given Wisconsin 3.5 or 4 points, something in like that, to win Wednesday. So it is a somewhat of a game changer that they didn't. You look at what they've got now. They've got enough time to reset before they go to Ohio State. They got Rutgers at home, and both of those are at home. So you would expect they're going to win those. Then you've got the monster next Sunday at Michigan. Indiana at Indiana will be interesting. And then you've got Nebraska and Michigan at home. I don't know that they're going to run the table from here, but I don't think they have to run the table to get a share of it. I think they've got to do no less than split with Michigan. And I would think that there is a great chance that we will be seeing a game on March 9th for all of the regular season marbles versus Michigan, or at least the winner of that one to take a share of that title. So this is where this team is. I think they are accepting and coming around to the fact that they're not the team they were at the start of the year. Joshua Langford is gone. And the more they can get their sea legs, if you will, the more they can figure out, okay, this is how this rotation is going to work now, the better. When you've got this long a stretch at home in the middle of February, that's going to set you up to play your best basketball in the month of March. So I don't know what else they could ask for at this point, knowing that Langford is gone. They're in position to put some serious premium gas in this thing here over the next week or two. They're going to be in 48823 zip code. They're going to be right there at home here for a good while.
So, John, let me ask you right now, this team, if you're reading your gut, I said before the year, you can tell the listeners if I'm wrong, I thought this team would not have as good of a regular season record, but would go farther in the tournament than last year. I stand by it. I don't think without Joshua Langford, they're a Final Four team. I think they could get there. If they, depending on the draw, I thought they would before Joshua's injury. I don't now just because I think it's going to be so hard. But this is a team I expect to go to at least the Sweet 16. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the draw is key, but you would have to think this is a second weekend team. The Langford loss will hurt at some point, and it may cost them a round, but I think there is a great chance that they're at least playing for an entry spot into a Final Four. A lot of it, again, depends on the draw, but unlike last year's team, they're not going to beat themselves in that first round game. It's not going to happen. And there's just too much experience. There's too much grit. There's too many intangibles. You can see it. You can see when some guys have them. Sometimes you see it in other players around the Big Ten. You see teams that have that special it factor, the intangibles. This is just too many gamers on this team. There's too many gamers on this team. If they can get one more true freshman to just bump up his contribution level just a little bit, like where you can say, wow, this guy's really contributing a lot here in the last month of the year. If they can get that, I think you're right. Regular season record, I didn't think too much of this year. Expected, like you, that it'd be a little bit worse. How could it not? But I definitely expected this team to go deeper, and I think they are positioned to do so as we sit here getting ready for the heart of February.
What do you think, John? Tell me this. I mean, I was out there. I said exactly what I thought. How far will they go?
I think they have a chance to play for a Final Four. I think they will get to a regional final. That would be where I would project them going at this time. Now, there was a little slide there. I do think that they have corrected the slide. I think they're going to find a way to get a little bit more out of one of the deeper guys on the bench. And then you talk about matchups, and there's a depth issue that Michigan State has an advantage of. There's an issue a little bit like the Patriots who lost the Super Bowl last year. Michigan State knows they were the odds-on favorite to win the whole thing last year and didn't. So all the guys that are on that court, when they start the first weekend, they're going to have that in the back of their mind. They don't need to speak it. They don't need to get a tattoo saying it, but they're going to know about it. Because of that, I think this team's going to get driven a little further. They know they've got to make up for a couple of short trips to the big dance in the last couple years. And I think they've got a shot to do it. So I would say I expect them to be playing in a regional final, playing in an Elite Eight game coming this March.
Interesting stuff. We're talking to Spartan Nation senior writer Johnny Sharp. Johnny Shop. So, John, you just called it an Elite Eight?
I think so. Yeah. I don't see any. I see too many reasons supporting that relative to guard play, relative to depth, motivation, intangibles. And I think they're probably due for a little bit of luck, too. Just a little bit of luck this time.
Awesome. Spartan Nation senior writer Johnny Shop. We'll be back.